Nigerian political scientist, academic and activist who is also the director of the Center for Democracy and Development, Professor Jibo Ibrahim, joins us now from our Abuja studio for analysis of the ongoing Anambra State governorship election. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Arise News Now.
Thank you.
Now, Professor, how would you assess the voting process so far in Anambra State?
I think so far the voting process has been quite smooth. I think the logistics showed a clear improvement because most polling units started on time and the materials were all available. At the level of technology, the beavers worked well in virtually all the polling units that we have covered. And people came out and voted. Anambra has been notorious for low turnout. We don't know what the turnout will be this time, but we would soon find out. But it appears on the surface to be higher than it was previously, which was only 10% of the voters. There were fears of violence, but no significant reporting has arrived in that direction. So I think so far so good.
Now, we've heard reports of vote buying in some polling units. What impact is this likely to have on the outcome of the election? And how do we curb this going forward? Really, who should be held responsible? Is it the security agents who have not been able to stop this? Is it the politicians? Is it the electorate? How do we curb this menace?
Well, it is a very serious problem for our electoral process because what it does is it tarnishes the mandate. The mandate is the right of citizens to choose the person they feel will govern them in the best possible manner. Therefore, they assess different candidates on that basis and choose the one they are the most confident about. When people's votes are bought, however, it means you are voting just on the basis of the money offered to you as a voter. And that money is a very small amount. This is somebody who will be governing the state for the next 4 years. And you can't sell such an important responsibility on the basis of 4,000 or 5,000 naira. So it is a very serious problem, and it has been growing over the past few years. We have had reports from our observers in Anambra that vote buying is ongoing in many of the polling units. And in terms of responsibility, vote buying and selling are criminal activity. Therefore, the security agencies are supposed to arrest all those engaged in such an activity. In fact, we've seen people going into the booth with their phones to photograph their vote as a receipt for payment to be received when they come out of the polling booth. And I think it's really, really a very unfortunate situation. And the security agencies should sit up and put a stop to this criminal activity.
So let's talk a bit further about the issue of security. Are you satisfied with the level of security presence that you have seen so far, considering previous tensions in the state with unknown gunmen and separatist agitation?
I think it's precisely because of that there was a massive deployment of security agents to Anambra. The police have said they've deployed 45,000, and there are other security agencies that are also deployed. So it's actually massive, and it must be due to concerns that have emanated from earlier elections when the voters were being threatened with violence if they turn out to vote. We have had no significant reports this time around, and I think the security agencies have been effective in terms of dissuading troublemakers to come and cause trouble during the elections. But I do think that we need to make a massive effort in terms of our civic education in Nigeria. I mean, in a general election, you can't deploy 45,000 police to a state because the total police force of Nigeria is only about 350,000. By the time you calculate 37 states, they just don't have the personnel. So we need to be able to organize peaceful elections without massively deploying security personnel. I think the problem has been historic, that over the years, certain politicians deliberately provoke violence and create inequality, and they get away with it. Because they get away with it, they repeat it with confidence. And I think once again, if the security agencies will sit up, identify and actually arrest and prosecute those involved in violence, then the level of violence will definitely decline in subsequent elections. That's the way to go, I believe.
Now, Professor, some analysts are worried that though the process seems to be going on smoothly, rigging might take place during the collation process. And of course, earlier we heard the governor, Charles Soludo, alleging that there's a particular candidate who has already prepared results that he's planning to swap, at the collation stage. Are there measures in place to safeguard the integrity of this election? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the new chairman of the Electoral Commission has assured Nigerians that the integrity of this election will be very high and that there's no cause for alarm. You are right that in previous elections, collation centers have been centers for the organization of fraud and changing election results. I've had the allegations from the governor, but at this point, we must give INEC the benefit of the doubt. They have assured us measures have been taken to ensure that there will be no fraud. So we wait and see, and our prayers are that INEC is right, there will be no fraud in this election, and the votes of the people will be counted and attributed correctly.
And finally, as we wrap up, are there any improvements that you would like to see maybe in the next off-cycle elections and probably, the 2027 general elections, as we look ahead to that?
I think one issue that has become clear has been the use of technology. In the 2023 election, the glitch that occurred at the level of IRF was a basic concern for the reason why people were disappointed is that it's clear that the use of such technology will definitely improve the integrity of the election. But above all, voters can see how the results are coming in and how they are being attributed to those who won those votes. I think legalizing that system and making it compulsory for all future elections is the way to go. But I think there's also, a strong argument for looking at the logistics to see if we can do all our elections in one day so that people will not try to change outcomes, having seen results emanating from the first day of voting. These changes need to be carefully thought through, but I think it will be good if we can have that for the 2027 elections.
Director of the Center for Democracy and Development, Professor Jibo Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us on Arise News Now.